Hi, my name is Paul Kautza. I'm the Director of Education for TDWI, and we're here at our San Diego World Conference, and I'm happy to be joined by Tony Rathburn from the Modeling Agency. Tony, you and I have worked together for a long time on a bunch of training pieces, and as you know, we've been working on building out our educational space in analytics, and you've come up with a couple of new classes for us that we're introducing in Boston. So the TDWI branded classes we have there are all fundamentals classes basically, and then you take us into more of the advanced things.
Right.
So we start off with performance management, and then we do best practices on designing dashboards and scorecards, and then business analytics, and then we'll have a fundamentals class in predictive analytics and data mining. But you've got two new classes that have, I think they have interesting titles.
That's a good thing.
The first one is big data versus fat data.
Correct.
Can you explain a little bit what you mean about that?
Well, I think one of the misconceptions that's in the current conversation around big data is what's really important from an analytics perspective. We're faced with this exponentially expanding growth of data that our IT staffs have to go through and capture and organize and clean and deliver appropriately. But as an analyst, I have a very different perspective on that issue. What I'm getting is what I refer to as fat data. I'm not concerned with the number of records. I really don't care beyond a very minimal level how many records that I have. The complexity for me comes when you start pulling in information from all these separate sources that add additional fields to these records. And we've gone from having a few tens of fields associated with a record to, in some cases, having a few thousand fields associated. That creates huge problems for me as an analyst to figure out how we capture the information content, how we structure it with all these new types of data that are being collected and put it in a format that's appropriate for analysis. It's like going to the library. Very few people read every book in the library while they were in college. Which ones are important to me for this problem that I'm working on? And when I start bringing them together, how do I create the simplicity in my model that allows it to generalize into unseen data? And we go into a lot of those issues and how we work with them and how we create composites and pull the core information so that we can be effective with solving business problems and not just analytic problems.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great class.
Should be fun.
The second one is supporting an analytics-driven organization.
Correct.
So you teach one on Thursday, and the second one will be taught on Friday in Boston. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Well, as opposed to Thursday with big data versus fat data, that's really more of a technically oriented course. The Friday course on establishing a analytics-driven organization is more strategic. And as organizations new to this area start to explore it in more depth and get serious about it, this is a question I often get. How do I actually implement across the organization the benefits of this kind of technology? What are the core concepts? What level of involvement do I need, and in what areas, from the business user, from the technical support team, both in terms of data and in the quantitative techniques? What do I need from management? How should I expect these projects to work? And for me, most importantly, how do I as an organization go through and develop a sense of how many resources I should actually devote to this by going through initially and looking for opportunities within the organization and having a methodology that says, here's how I identify a predictive analytics project. These work, these don't. And now I've got an idea of what the potential is for me from a business perspective in the organization, and then how to bring it in and coordinate the team.
Terrific. So with those two classes, would you recommend them for IT people? Would you recommend them for business people, or both?
Both. And for the quantitative specialists. For all three, because I think if nothing else, one of the real problems we have in today's environment is we have some exceptional people working in the area, trying to come up with solutions, but I have people from business, I have people from IT, and I have quantitative experts, and they all speak different languages. We need them in a common framework and a common language to be able to have a viable conversation in the organizations. And having these kind of coordinated groups with a common thought process and a common set of language is one step in establishing effective use of predictive analytics in an organization.
So ideally, they would bring their team together.
Have a full team.
And be able to get on the same page at the same time.
Right.
Terrific. Well, I'm looking forward to them. I think they'll be a lot of fun.
Should be
And
fun.
if you guys are interested in more learning, vendor-neutral best practice learning on analytics across the entire gamut, please look at tdwi.org and come see Tony at our Boston conference, October 20th through 25th. This is Paul Kautza at the TDWI San Diego conference. Thank you very much and have a good day.